Hello and welcome back to Stafford Scoop, where we get to know our elected officials a little bit better. William Bostic Jr., how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Robert.
Good to see you. Thanks for
Good to
being
see you.
here. I like to say, let's begin at the beginning here. So we know you're from Stafford originally, and so tell us about your childhood. Tell us about your mom and dad, your siblings.
Yes, sir. So I was born at Southwest Memorial Herman, Sharpstown. Stafford, 2nd through 12th. My mom actually taught at Stafford. My dad coached at Stafford. My older brother, he played. My sister played sports too. My brother Tony, and then my sister Angel. We've all been focused on sports our whole lives, and not just sports, but I mean, my parents were very strict about our academics. So I mean, anything below a B, we risked not being able to play any sports that we wanted to, and that meant more studying. So, but I mean, both my mom and dad were just very big on education, and then all the other stuff came second. But they were really focused on education.
Okay, well, you mentioned that you grew up in a sports household. I know your dad played at the University of Michigan in NFL with the Oilers and the Browns.
Love your blue.
Yeah, and you and your brother both played, were both athletes, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did that shape you?
I won't lie, I've been blessed. It's kind of funny because both my parents came from military families, and so they're very schedule regimented. So I don't know what to do without an itinerary. And so that's kind of, I've always been brought up on having something to do. There was never time for just to waste time, and were always doing something that was gonna make us better. And so that was always just instilled in us. It was instilled from my dad, it was instilled from my mom. Just what are you doing to make yourselves better, but then you're doing it right.
So now you played college football as a linebacker at Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Now I was way back when I was a quarterback, so I was scared of guys like you. I ran for my life from you guys. So what did it mean for you to follow in your dad's footsteps and play in Michigan?
I mean, it was cool. It was, I'll be full disclosure, I wasn't as good as my dad. I mean, that guy, All-American, 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, I didn't even get to make it to the league, but it was just, it's awesome to seeing what he did and trying to replicate that, but then he flips it on me and he's like, well, you've done things I've never done. So, I mean, he reminds me I got my master's from his alma mater, so that's something that has him fired up. And I mean, it's just kind of cool, different, as you say, we're in different arenas, and he loves seeing us just excel and just inspire people. And I mean, that's the crazy thing too, is like, as I'm getting older, I'm entering that stage of mentor, and I appreciate all of my mentors that helped me out, but now people are seeing me as a mentor, and it's a cool feeling to know that you had to do something to bring those, what are you doing to help the next folks out, and it's exciting.
I imagine. So how did playing college football shape the way you approach your leadership?
Kind of the same way. I mean, I'm very regimented. I like going into, you do your research, you take your notes, you watch your film. Not only that, you study. And I won't say you study your opponents. I mean, that's one of my things is I know everybody that's on that schedule, and I'm gonna look for every weakness in that, on that team. So, I mean,
Okay.
And that's the fun thing. You go into stuff fully prepared, ready for battle. So
all of that, do you think athletics prepared you for the type of scrutiny and pressure that comes along with any type of, like being on the city council? Or are there any lessons from the locker room, like you said, you can apply?
I mean, it's kind of full circle. I mean, discipline is everything, and then you have to think about your team. I mean, you're only as strong as your team, and so, that's one rule is you don't finish until everybody on that team gets through. And I mean, does that mean that you might have to do more? Absolutely, but it's for the team. And it's never fun to be the only one that won. And then you see that you could have had an opportunity where you could celebrate with the entire team. It's more fun to celebrate with others than just on yourself.
Okay. Now, you're an urban planner for Crown Castle, which is a major telecommunications infrastructure company, and you work with the Southern District of Texas too. So, how does your background in those inform your decisions with the council?
I mean, it's quite a bit, and I mean, I've actually left Crown Castle. I'm with Christian Brothers Automotive Corporation, and
okay.
so
Sorry, I didn't
oh no,
know.
it's okay. It was a new role I recently took, but I mean, I'm a project manager in land acquisition and permitting, and so all these items do come full circle.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, from the 9 years I served at the Southern District of Texas, I mean, it was civil and bankruptcy, and you're seeing everything from criminal matters, civil matters, and bankruptcy matters, and you'll be shocked how all that stuff intertwines. And then you fast forward into Crown Castle, where you're discussing different cell phone towers. And so these cell phone towers provide necessary services, you know, E911 and just communications. I mean, we learned that the hard way during Burrow when a few of the towers were knocked over and we had no way of communicating. And so you fast forward, I was lucky that I was on the national team where I had to deal with different jurisdictions from California to Massachusetts, down here in Texas and Louisiana. And you see all the different types of things that are going on. And it's funny how all these areas all have the same ideas. Even here in Stafford, there's a certain board that approves cell phone towers here in Stafford. So it's different types of rules, and it just helps me think on city council. And then on top of that, now at Christian Brothers Auto, it's a fast expanding company, and it's exciting to be here. And one of the things that they had to focus on is what's going on. We can apply our issues here in Stafford.
So, if you weren't in public service or planning, what career would you might have pursued?
That's a loaded one. I mean, I had aspirations to be an attorney. I've had aspirations to be an entrepreneur, aspirations to be a football player. I mean, there's so many different things. I mean, at one point I was reffing. So, I mean, I always like to see different. I never would have seen myself in college. I would have never thought I'd be at the Southern District of Texas. At the Southern District of Texas, I never thought I'd be an urban planner with Crown Castle. At Crown Castle, I never thought I'd be moving on to being a project manager on expansion of a corporation to where we have over 330 stores. So, I mean, it's exciting to see how each of these things build upon each other. And I mean, I'm just enjoying my time right now, so.
Well, how do you recharge outside of your work?
That's a good one. I love to, I used to run, but my knees aren't what they used to be. So I'm really big on just trying to stay moving. And so, you know, I'll take walks. I try to get 10,000 steps a day. And it's just, either it's working out or one of my favorites is just getting online and playing a couple of video games.
Gaming.
Yep,
Yeah.
playing with a couple of friends. And, you know, that's the best part is like, in the past, it was only, you could play 4 screens with 4 people in the house versus now you can play with your friends all nationwide. And it's a great way of just keeping up and checking
What's
in
the
on
number
people.
one game you play?
Oh, that's a tough one because
What's your go-to?
it usually flips. I mean, it's usually Madden. I mean, I'm big on Madden, but I mean, if I'm having a long day, I'll play some Call of Duty. So,
Oh, okay.
so I'm
Get some of it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you had a completely free day, no limitations on time, expenses, none of that stuff, what would you want to do? Where would you want to go? What would you want to do? Any of those types of things.
I would want to be in nature, but not too far in nature. I don't like camping. I
Don't want to rough it too much.
Right.
Okay.
I like nature, but then I like being able to see skyscrapers and civilization. So, I mean, but it's nothing like just walking along a bayou or a trail and just embracing those quiet moments and just kind of disconnecting from everything. And that's really a really good way to reset, in my opinion, is just taking taking your time and just embracing the little small things. I mean, you hear the birds chirp, and I mean, a lot of these things people take for granted until it's taken away from them. And then all of a sudden, that's, as I gotten older, I'm seeing these little small moments they mean the most.
Right.
So
what does it mean to represent a community that helped shape you?
I mean, it's more than an honor. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I've reiterated that several times, but I mean, it goes back to knowing that it's bigger than you. And when someone comes to you asking for help, it's nothing like being able to sit there and try to figure out how to solve this problem. And then when you do come up with the solution, and then you see the solution. And it's awesome to know that you're making an impact and you're making people's quality of life here in our city better. I mean, it's amazing to see how much Stafford's grown and where Stafford is from in the past, and I mean the entire surrounding community. If you've seen 30 years ago, I mean, Sealy was a farm town. Belleville's still sort of a farm town, but I mean, you're seeing these towns all of a sudden, they're suburbs of Houston now. And I mean, even Stafford, we used to be, as a gateway to Fort Bend, we were kind of a cow town, and then you see it now. I mean,
well, what's changed the most about Stafford since you were a kid?
You know, I'll say this whole development along 90. I commend Mayor Scarcella and the previous councils for ensuring that we had these underpasses installed, because back in the day when 90 was just the 2-lane thoroughfare, I mean, it was really backed up, but then we had enough foresight to actually build these underpasses and work with the Union Pacific. And now you're seeing Missouri C is about to do that with theirs, but we're ahead of the game.
Now, I know you've served as the co-director of the Scholarship Committee on the University of Michigan Alumni Club of Houston, right?
Yes, sir.
You've been a referee.
Yes, sir.
You substitute taught.
Yes, sir.
And a whole lot more. Is there a teacher, a coach, or a mentor, or an experience from your school years that shaped your path and had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, I'll say it's...
You mentioned some mentors.
Mm-hmm. I'll say, I mean, it's one of the more recent ones we lost was my good friend and coach, Stephen Thompson. I mean, that guy, he was one of my favorites because, I mean, during the summer, he would get us and he'd say, hey, y'all aren't doing anything. We're going to go run the steps at Rice Stadium. And that was always an adventure because you don't know what group you're going to get broken up with. And, you know, that's what it was about. He always cared about us, and everyone was saying it's not just athletics, it's academics, and it's creating well-rounded individuals. I mean, it's so many, Coach Stevens, Coach Clay, my dad, he was a coach. I mean, even Sadie Williams, when she was working at the school. I mean, it's so many people. Yolanda Kelly, keep change. Hey, that's how you multiply negative numbers. So I mean, it's just funny when you think about it. I mean, Miss Williamson, I just saw her at the graduation last year, and she taught me 8th grade reading, and I mean, she's still looking great. So I mean, it's great just seeing people, and then even the fast forward, seeing some of my classmates teaching at Stafford. I mean, it's awesome to see them and just seeing folks excel and you're rooting for them. I mean, and they all came from here. That's the best.
And you mentioned now that you're kind of in the role now of being looked at the same way. So what advice would you give right now for a young person that wants to, serve their community?
Seize the day. Attack it. Get involved. Look for opportunities. Mm-hmm. If you see there's an issue, you need to say something. And I mean, it's awesome. I mean, just the opportunities this little 7 square mile town have provided, I mean, it's global. I mean, it's literally global. I mean, from the Stafford Kickstart team to, winning medals in Norway. I mean, we're global. I mean, it's awesome. And I mean, it's reminded me of Scarcella. Just back when I was a kid, he would always be walking and he walked past our house. And he always made an emphasis to stop and just talk, and
Wow.
you know, regardless of who you were. So I mean, that's the thing. Is like, this is open to everybody. Come on, and this is our community. We all need to make it better. So.
Okay. Well, I know this is near and dear to you. So how proud are you that you have been able to bring the Juneteenth event and to Stafford and seeing it grow every year?
It's awesome. I mean, it's Texas history, and I mean, people don't understand this. Juneteenth happened literally 40 miles down the street from us in Galveston, and I mean, I was lucky to work at the Southern District of Texas. I had to work both in Houston and Galveston, and so I was able to actually work down in Galveston a few Juneteenths. And I mean, just seeing how they revered the holiday, from the churches to the community members to the city, even the state. And then it was amplified when President Biden made it a holiday. And I'll never forget what Judge Brown said. He is an active judge in Galveston. And when he closed the courthouse, he said, you know, it's a jubilant event, and it's an opportunity to learn about our history and our culture of this beautiful country. And those words always just stuck with me, because it was pretty powerful, because you're acknowledging what it is, and then to know what's going on here in Stafford and the history of what Stafford is. I mean, Stafford played a vital role on the road to Texas independence. So I mean, a lot of these stories all connect in one way, because it's Texas history. I mean, the railroad right across the street, that's the first railroad in Texas, and it ended right here at Stafford Point. So I mean, it's cool knowing these types of history, and it all goes back to everything compounds. And now we're doing the Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're also doing the Asian American Pacific Islander. I mean, it's bigger. It's bigger than us, and it's about celebrating everything that Stafford is.
So we know that I hope I announced it properly at the very beginning, but you're Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
And you've been on the Planning and Zoning Commission, currently on SEDC. So what's the biggest development challenge facing the city right now?
The biggest development challenge, we're landlocked. We're 7 square miles, and we're gonna have to do infill development. So every single parcel that we have to look at. And the big issue now is several, but the biggest one is this concept of a warehouse or distribution center or flex space. What do you call it? And so you have these big facilities that are taking up space, and people understand what's going on in Stafford, that we need retail. And so when you have retail, that drives sales tax. And so it's just, how do we encourage these types of businesses and operations to bring their facilities here so that we could get those point of sales. And so I'm learning that on the EDC is just, we're seeing that, and we're driving that, and we're seeing what's coming on. I mean, you see what's happening with the grid and the growth over there. And then, I mean, one of the biggest issues that I hear about is a grocery store. And I mean, we recently just got a Target, but I understand. I mean, do we get we all want a HEB, but do we get a Kroger? I mean, we have to look at the stores that are trying to expand into Texas too. And, you know, once again, Stafford's at a very advantageous and a very good location. But yes, our location, I mean, we have 3 thoroughfares. We have the Beltway, we have 59 or 69, and then we have Highway 90. So, I mean, it's a very large convergence of logistics, and there's a reason why Stafford's so attractive for warehouses.
All right. So there's got to be a balance there between the business, the residents, the city's needs, all of that stuff. So when residents oppose a project, you know, how do you approach those conversations with them?
You have to.
Because it might be indifference, you know?
And, you know, once again, that's where Crown Castle kind of played a good role in helping me understand it's considered not in your backyard, not in my NIMBYism, not in my backyard. And so how do you handle something, say that's a public good, such as think about our wastewater facility and water water reclaiming efforts right off of 59 where Stafford City Park is. And you know, that's the Fort Bend Water District, but those items are necessary for city infrastructure and us having potable, drinkable water. But then back to what you were saying, if it's something we really don't want, say a cell phone tower, you have to think, is this a public good? Or is this just for business? Is it for profits? What's really going on here? And so you had to, that's what I did on P&Z. It was just every development that was here, I would actually drive by and take a look and scope out the area. And my biggest concern was, are there residents here? Are there homes here? Are there people that live here? Because they're gonna have it's gonna have the biggest impact on them. Yeah. And so that's the main thing, is you wanna put yourself in their foot, see where they're coming from. And you know, it's just having more empathy from understanding what they want. And sometimes it's very emotional. So, and you know, you have to dial back the emotions, but at least you need to make sure that you're making the right decision and you're doing what's right.
Okay. Well, what's one planning decision that could shape the city for the next 20 to 30 years? And is there one bold idea that you think the city needs to consider?
I'll say the first one is our comprehensive plan. We're actually working on that, and I mean, we've updated it all roughly about 10 years ago, and so it's time for a real update. We never finished it, and so that's kind of why we have all these, it's called SUPs, specific use permits. And so it's amending different zoning areas for different needs versus we need to hammer down what we want and what we want the city to be. Because the comprehensive plans is how you do you adopt your zoning and everything. And so that's the most important thing right now in driving forward. But I mean, just in terms of developments, I mean, Stafford can't grow out anymore. Can't grow out. We're a mature city. That's what you call a mature city when they can't expand anymore. We have to grow up. And so you have to think about more dense development. And so that's big on my mind right now, is how do you get this more type of dense development, because Stafford's population is also stagnated because we're landlocked. So you're not going to have too many new master plan communities or developments. Right. So now we have to figure out, how do we make these, like with the apartments, you're seeing them 4 stories, 5 stories now. So, and the goal is to have some type of mixed use development. So where you have commercial on the bottom and people living up above. So more so think of Sugarland Town Square, Pearland, even Bridgeland's new deal with the Houston Texans. I mean, just think, and we're actually doing something along that line over with the Stafford Center, with the feasibility studies on the expansion.
Okay. What has been the biggest accomplishment of your time on the City Council and SEDC?
I would say one of my biggest ones, and it was just something that I would hear a lot about, and that was recycling. And just trying to figure out how to implement this to where it was fair for those who wanted it, but also for those who didn't want it, and not to create a burden on everyone. And so there's a give and a take, and so we were able to come up with a solution where now we have recycling. And I think they said, I forgot the amount, but they said that we have somewhere about a 70% capture rate of residents participating in it. So, I mean, it's awesome to know. Great. Yeah, so I mean, it's great to know that people are doing that. And then another one, I hate to harp on the water fountains, but that was a project that I worked on when I first got on council. And right. Just from understanding why they were shut down to when we were going to turn them on, and you realize, living in Michigan, I was up there during the Flint water crisis. And so that was a very concerning matter when they were talking about turning the water on. I'm like, the water has been stagnant for 3 or 4 years. And we don't want a situation like what happened down in Freeport with the brain-eating amoeba that happens in stagnant water. And so we were able to get those flushed, and now we have some pretty nice water fountains that the public will get to enjoy for the next few, hopefully, decades.
Look great too, and I like the little puppy one
Yep,
underneath. Too.
absolutely.
Well, what first got you interested in local politics?
Gotcha.
And what was the final push to get you to go ahead and run for office?
Yeah, no, it was just when I moved back home. I majored in political science, and so I was always tuned into politics and understanding what was going on. And then coming back home, I attended one of my first State of the City addresses, and I even spoke about the sidewalks. And you know, it's just how do we connect these neighborhoods as an avid runner and guy that works out. You know, I like looking at along the canals and using those. And now the canals and the right of ways. And so those were always good trails to me because there was no traffic and no other stuff, but you have to worry about wildlife and copperheads and other creepy crawlies. But the main thing was just you can see how much of an impact you can make on the community, and it took a lot to move into that arena. And once I decided that I was going to do it, you can't go in half-hearted. Like I took it as an approach that, like any other job, I'm going to do my best. And how do I impact the most people in the most ways as possible and making the most impressions? And once again, it goes back to somebody has a problem and they bring it to you. You do your best to try to address it. And how do you address it? You identify it, you start looking at it, and then you form a hypothesis and you see if it works.
Did you lean on some of your more athletic days? You talked about your preparation and
yep.
getting that list together and getting your priorities in order and
absolutely.
Competitiveness jump in?
Absolutely. You know, you don't want to go into a match uninformed.
Gotcha. Well, you're still, this last question, so you're still a pretty young man, so you've got a long way to go before this comes up, but what do you think you want, what is the most important thing that you want people to say about you once you've moved on? About you?
Yeah. I just hope they know I care and I love this community, and you know, just growing up and seeing where it's at, I want to make Stafford better. I hope they know that my objective was when I'm gone that this community is better, and then they know that my heart's in the right place. That's all.
Mayor Pro Tem Bostic, thank you so much. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
No, thank you, Robert.
Appreciate you. Thank you.